I'm so excited to have you here with me, and welcome to How to Learn Digital Marketing from the comfort of your home. I just want to welcome everybody on. I'm really excited to have you on. I'm going to kick off in a moment. We're just waiting for some more people to log on, and we're going to get started and get stuck in. And whether you're someone that started your own business and you're finding it difficult to get visible online, you're not getting that traffic, the traffic that's going to lead to the leads, it's going to lead to sales. This is the place where you need to be. Or you could just be a marketeer that is working for an organization. I don't just mean could be, don't quite mean it like that. But you could be in digital marketing. That's exactly where I started my journey. And you're coming across stumbling blocks of really finding it difficult to meet the objectives of the stakeholders and the organization that you work with and the team that you work with. And again, you are in the right place. There's some fundamental things that are really, really important when we're really thinking about digital marketing and how we're going to sell online to get those sales in so we can scale our businesses. And a lot of what we're going to talk around today is going to be half psychology and half technology. And it's just about really understanding, the content that you're putting out there and connecting with your audiences and how you do that online. Because the aim of this game is to be visible and get noticed. You could have the greatest business in the world, but if no one knows where you are or who you are, it just doesn't matter. So with that said, I'm going to share my screen. I am going to turn my camera off just because when the presentation starts, seeing myself in the top corner of the screen can be a little bit off-putting. But I really just want to introduce you to myself. I'm in my home as well. And many of you that run your own businesses online know you don't need offices, especially with the pandemic we're now in and the coronavirus. Actually, many of us who are marketeers or even worked in our own offices as our own businesses, we're all working from home. Selling online, using your computer and using your internet is made possible in this digital age, all from the comfort of your home. So with that said, let's get started. So I am going to share my screen with you. And there we go. Let's go into my presentation. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to just quickly pop my video off. There you go. And we're going to get started. So I can still see a few people are still joining, but that is no problem at all. So let's kick off as people are joining in. And welcome to How to Learn Digital Marketing from Your Home when starting or scaling a business. So like I said, you could be just starting out, you could be starting and coming across some stumbling blocks, or actually you could be at a point where you know your business is viable and you're finding it really difficult to get to that next stage of scaling your business. So with that said, I just want to give you a little bit more information about who I am, because I've been going on, I've not actually introduced myself, but as we're now all on the call, welcome, and my name is Natalia Nicholson. I don't want to make this workshop all about me, so I'm just going to give you a brief overview, so at least you know where the information's coming from. I've very much found my way to success, so everything we go through today is actually from my own experiences. I've been an entrepreneur since 23 years of age, so coming up to 20 years now. Some of you might guess my age from that. Started off in e-commerce around the dot-com boom. So when Amazon was, not that well heard of and kind of at its verge of really, really expanding and becoming the massive brand it is now, I decided with the e-commerce boom, actually, I want to be a bookseller, but I want to sell multicultural books from A to Z. Also sell music, greeting cards, but all from a multicultural marketplace. So I started that business, and I assure you it's very different to what it is now. Back then, you would have to have someone that, would do all the programming, the coding, someone else that would design the site. We now live in a world where there's so many cloud-based systems and so many softwares where the user experience is so great, you no longer have to have that experience with technology, which you had to have back then. So this is an absolute brilliant time in the digital age to really, really start or scale selling online, especially within e-commerce, as we see more and more people not going out anymore because of the pandemic. I can never get those words out quite straight. Pandemic. You know, more and more people are buying from home. We've got the biggest season of the year around the world, irrespectively of religion. People buy a lot at the holiday season of the year called Christmas. So this is a huge opportunity for you starting out. If you're getting into e-commerce, or you're even selling a service that is motivational, you've got January ahead of you where everybody decides they want to implement change. The internet's made you possible to do it. So I started that business in a time where the entry barriers wasn't as low as it is now. Coming from a corporate background, working at places like Capital Radio, Daily Mail, I come from very much a media background. Starting my own business, I treated it like I was a corporate and soon ran out of money. So I was spending a lot of money on marketing and creating a brand, and I wasn't getting return on investment. So it saw that that business actually went under. Once that business went under, I lost everything, my property portfolio, everything. I had to move back home. From there, I started a cleaning business, traditional bricks and mortar, and I really learned how to start a business, how to make it profitable, how to sell. How to sell is a big thing. We run away from it, but sales and marketing go hand in hand. From there, I had children. I couldn't sustain running a national contract across the UK. So I decided, right, I'm going to get into coaching, because I felt like there was a lot of coaches that hadn't actually gone through the pain that I went through of starting and running their own business. From there, I then decided I really miss doing business and entrepreneurship. So I then started getting back into running my own business and designed my whole own range of candles. So I actually have an e-commerce store called NN Inspirational Gift, where I sell candles, and I'm about to launch a whole new range of inspirational gifts of phone covers, cushions, pillows, throws. So that business is doing well, and that business is really what taught me how to sell online and brought me to conferences. It brought me to masterminds. It brought me to having my own coach, and I really learned how to sell online. I really learned digital marketing in its truest sense. So that's what brought me here today. Not only am I an e-commerce seller, I also train and coach. I train and coach around digital marketing for brands like Google Digital Garage, BT, Lloyd's TSB, Godiva Chocolatier, amongst many others. So I've been in this game for a while, and it's been difficult. It's a huge learning curve, and there's a lot of get rich quick schemes out there, and I got caught in a lot of them where they don't give you value, don't give you the information you need, and base everything around a model that worked for them, and it doesn't necessarily serve you. So with that said, that's a bit about Natalia Nicholson. So just a few more points. Any of you that have got goals here, you know, any of you got goals in your careers, goals in your business, don't procrastinate. Set a time limit. Really, really important. Don't wait for perfect. If you wait for perfect, you'll just never start. If there was any a time to get into the digital age, it's now. And if it's not now, what you'll find is the barriers will start to go up, and you'll have that feeling years from now where you say, I wish I just did it. So don't procrastinate. Have a full belief that you can do this. You have to believe in yourself, guys. If you don't believe in yourselves, no one else will. And be clear on your goals. Many of us start business to have more time, for financial freedom, to provide for our families. Be clear on what your goals are so your business can match your personal goals, so you get ahead in life and where you want to be. If you haven't already, please do make sure you get a notebook, you take notes, and please be a learner. As much as I train, I coach, I run workshops, I run masterminds, I'm always a learner, and I like to pass that back into my community. So if you haven't got that yet, please do go and get that. If you want to quickly go and get a glass of water, a coffee, a tea, you know, do it now, because we're going to really get in. Everything that we discussed today is confidential. It's a judgment-free zone. And, you know, remember that with yourself. You can't fool anybody. You can't fool yourself, basically. But everything that is discussed on this workshop is confidential. And it's between myself as a coach and trainer and you as the audience. So with that said, let's have some fun. Right, so let's crack on. So the workshop outline today, I very much want to look at branding of yourself, personal branding, and your business. I want to look at the customer value journey, the journey you're about to take your customer, or you're taking your customer on, and what that should look like. I really want to look at content marketing. This is probably one of the most important parts of this workshop of really learning how to connect with your audience. We are using hardware, we're using tech. So the aim of the game from traditional marketing to digital marketing is how do we make these personal connections through technology? And that is really, really important for you to get noticed. We're also going to look at analytics, you know, stop making assumptions and let's look at the stats and the data that will tell us more about our audience and our marketplace. And then I'm just going to do an introduction to social media, because let's face it, I could do a whole day's workshop around social media. So those are the things that we're going to be looking at today. So one of the things that I want to give you, and by the way, guys, you will get a copy of these decks, don't worry. I'm going to give you a link to a Facebook group after this workshop where you can go and you can get a copy of these slides, and also I'm going to make sure that this resource is in there for you, the letter of commitment. Now remember I said understand what your goals are and have belief in yourself. Now if you're taking a mortgage out, even if you're taking a mobile phone out, a credit card out, you sign terms and conditions and you abide by those terms and conditions, and you take it very, very seriously, because if you default, you know what the consequences will be. The problem is when it comes to committing to ourselves and our own goals, we often don't take that same approach, and we don't often take that same seriousness. So I really want you, if you're on this call because you started a business, you're starting a business, you're ready to scale, you're working in the marketing department, and you know your role within marketing, you must have a personal career plan. Always have a plan. If you don't plan, you plan to fail. Your plan doesn't always go according to plan, but at least if you've got a plan, you can draw a different roadmap. Do you know what I mean? So I want you to go away and write a letter of commitment to yourself where you really state the goals and you commit to taking action, and you make that promise to yourself. Give yourself the same respect that you would give other organizations that we do like it's second nature. So let's get stuck into it. Let's look at defining our personal brand, or defining your personal brand, should I say. So a brand identifies a product or service and it differentiates it from its competitors and the marketplace. So be very clear about what you're doing. Most of you on this call will understand the fundamentals of traditional marketing, of understanding what a USP is, unique selling point. What is unique about you? You don't want to be in what I call bloody waters. You don't want to be in a busy marketplace full of sharks. So everybody's going for the same place, so it's just crowded. You really want to be able to differentiate yourself. When we look at industries, for instance, like the health industry and the diet industry, if you look at some of the products and services that have done really well, they're things that are very traditional, you know, Weight Watchers, got a plan, follow it, and there's many things like Weight Watchers. They are one of the brand leaders within their marketplace. However, you might have other plans down to, you know, eat maple syrup and lose weight. Let's look at the Subway campaign. Subway actually was nearly going out of business and saved themselves by, you know, making a man that ate Subway every day and lost a whole ton of weight. And I mean a massive amount of weight. And he became the story and the face behind Subway. So that's what I mean by right and left. You're either going to be in a really saturated market with loads of brand leaders like Weight Watchers, or you're going to take it complete left wing and be really radical. And we all know things like Subway or maple syrup isn't healthy, but obviously it's not in a saturated marketplace. I am not by any means suggesting anybody goes to have an unhealthy diet, by the way. It's just to show you the example of place yourself in a market. If you're launching a busy marketplace, make sure you differentiate yourself from the competitors in the marketplace so you're more of in an emptier space. As entrepreneurs, we've often got this attitude of, well, I can appeal to loads of people, loads of different audiences can use my product or service. You just become everything to everyone. And not only that, you're now going to have a huge marketing budget to find all these different people. So it's important that from the beginning in a brand, you really want to niche. You really want to be able to speak to a specific audience so they get you. So let's look at personal brands and identities. You know, who are you? Who you are, sorry. So personal brand identifies who you are and how you differentiate yourself from other people. So someone asked me a question once, and that question simply was, what makes you fascinating? And when they asked me that, I thought, wow, that is an absolutely big question, because your brand, your business, your service is born out of you. So if it's born out of you, it's going to have traits and chromosomes and likes just like you, because you put that together. So your brand is always going to start with your personal identity. If we look at some of the pictures on the screen now, we've got people like Gordon Ramsay, you know, straight talking, to the point, hard worker. Got a bit of a potty mouth and language not always the best, but doesn't mince his words and says what he says and says what he means, and he's a go-getter and he's aggressive. And that's his personal brand. He's very well respected for it. You've got brands like Mother Teresa. Mother Teresa is known for giving, making the world a better place, putting others before her. She might not have a business. Well, she does their charities, because charities are still considered businesses. But just think about what she stands for personally, and that has filtered through into all of her work and who's worked with her. We've got brands like Oprah Winfrey. Oprah Winfrey is just the gift that keeps on giving. And as I like to call her, she understands about the law of reciprocation. She is approachable. She is warm. She's known for helping other businesses and people and skyrocketing them. And, you know, what she says goes. If she says read a book, you know, millions and millions of people are reading it. So just understand from now, I want you to go back, even those of you that have started your own business, understand what your brand is. It's key for your customers, and it's also key for anybody that works in your team or works with you, that they understand, you know, what is it that you stand for. So just ask yourself that question: what makes you fascinating? And you may recognize brands like these. Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan is a basketball player. His name, his personal brand, is put on a Nike trainer, and it's a household name. You know, all these businesses, all these big brands out there, they all understand the difference. You know, there's a business brand and there's also a personal brand. So you've got people like Michael Jordan, one of the first early influencers of being able to attach his name to a product, being Nike, and it's skyrocketed. Personal branding, Nike's the business branding. Makes sense? Mark Zuckerberg. Facebook is a huge, huge multinational leading digital media business. Mark Zuckerberg has his own personal brand and doesn't actually have the, as Simon Cowell would call it, the like factor, the likable factor. You know, in the press, he's often slammed, or a lot of negative comments are said about him in his approach to people, his vision of Facebook. But yet, the Facebook brand and his personal brand are very different, but it was born out of him. So what Facebook stands for essentially came from him. But this is an example of how you can have such a different personal brand to a business brand. We've got people like Steve Jobs, Apple. You know, Steve Jobs is a very, very well-known name, respected, and if he talks, everybody listens. Apple is a household name. Yep. And again, he has his own personal brand, and Apple has his brand, but Apple was born out of him. So I really want you to understand that your personal branding is where you're going to start. Richard Branson, he is a beautiful example of, he was such an expert at knowing how to put himself in the press and get himself covered. And it brought Virgin to a brand and place that's known for treating their staff well, wanting to work for the organization, you know, just being that young new entrepreneur that wasn't a traditional company, that had a brand that's been growing for the last, you know, 100 years, someone like British Airways or Heinz Beans. Do you know what I mean? Kellogg's. Richard Branson is probably one of the new multinational earlier brands that came about that really understood what personal branding meant and what that could mean for his business brand. So I just want you to understand that as you're starting, actually nobody knows who your business is. So when you're promoting yourself, when you're doing content, when you're doing video, and when you are on the internet, people will remember you. So really, you want to start off being focused on your personal brand. And at the same time, your business brand will then be born out of that, but you need to get noticed first. You know, and avoid your past, understand your digital footprint. What I mean by that is that many of us now have had many social media accounts, you know, that was created by you, images that were posted, videos that were shared, likes, comments that you might have made, social media pages that you've got that you don't even remember that you had. How many of you have started a social media page and then forgotten about it and created something new because you might have a different business idea or you're going somewhere else? You know, content that you're tagged in. you know, comments, blog posts, reviews, news articles mentioning your name, just your internet activity in general, your cookies, your browsing history. Just be aware of what you have done in the past. And if there's something that, you know, isn't too appealing or doesn't match what you're doing now, delete it and remove it. There's a great website called Deseat Me. So Deseat Me. Just type it into Google. Deseat Me will tell you all the social media accounts that you've got, and you might think, oh wow, I forgot about that one. Oh wow, I forgot about this. And some of you may have heard of the comedian Kevin Hart. He made a throwaway comment and it came back to haunt him. And, you know, I think it was the Grammys that he was doing, don't quote me, but it was one of those big award ceremonies, and he was actually removed from, you know, being the presenter because of that comment that was years and years ago. And it was a very throwaway comment at that as well. So it can happen. So I just want you to be aware in terms of your personal branding. Just make sure you tidy it up. So let's take a look at branding strategies for business. So like I said, your business brand is going to be born out of you, but in starting point, you really want to introduce yourself, introduce your why. You know, everybody loves a why. The marketplace is really busy. On average, there are 40,000 ads. You're going to keep hearing me say that a lot throughout this workshop. 40,000 ads on average a day is what someone sees. So what makes you different? And you're really going to have to put that out there. And it starts with you, but with that, you've got your business strategy, your business branding strategy. So let's just look at the definition of branding. So definition: the marketing practice of creating a name, symbol, or design that identifies and differentiates a product from other products. That is what your brand is. So an effective brand strategy gives you major edge in an increasingly competitive market. But what exactly does branding mean? I think some people get lost in this, or some people think, yeah, I've got that covered. I've got my website, I've got my logo, tick box. And they don't spend enough time on branding. It's like a house. If you don't build the foundation properly, guess what? You're building it on a weak foundation and it can easily collapse. So simply put, your brand is a promise to your customers. It tells them what they can expect from your products and services, and it differentiates your offering from that of your competitors. Your brand is delivered from what you are, who you want to be, and who people perceive you to be. So just understand the difference between personal and business branding. And what I've done is I'm going to put together, like I said, guys, you will get a copy of these decks. So don't worry about that. So what I've done is I really want you to think, who is your target audience? Where do you sit in the marketplace? You know, you can't be everything to everyone. That's what I'm saying. You're going to have to choose who is your audience, and really you want to niche it down. If you don't, your marketing costs are going to be absolutely phenomenal, and your audience, you can't have personal conversations with them because then they're all coming from different places. So, you know, decide, are you the innovative maverick in your industry or the experienced, reliable one? Is your product the high cost, high quality option, or the low cost, high value option? You know, whatever it is, you can't be both, and you can't be all things to all people. So are you low cost? Are you high value, high price? Are you luxury? What are you? You know, who you are should be based to some extent on who your target customers want and need you to be. Does that make sense? If you're saying, oh, this audience will like my product or service, but then so with these people, then so with that people, they're different. So decide from now, you know, who your target audience is, because your brand needs to reflect their wants and their needs. And do your research. We are in the digital age. Oh, research is at your fingertips. Once upon a time, you know, I'd have to go to libraries to be looking through things like Mintel reports and business reports. Now you can go online and gain so much information. So do your research. You know, what is your company's mission? What are the benefits and features of your product or your service? And again, make sure you're standing out when you're answering all these. What do your customers and prospects already think of your company? You know, for those of you that are trading already, getting information from your customers, your existing customers, is absolutely key. If these are the people buying from you, these are the people that you should be doing your research with, because that's who your audience is, rather than making the assumption that you're going to go and get another market sector. No, get more of what you've already got. Don't fix it if it's not broke. You know, what qualities do you want them to associate with your company? And you need to be very clear around these things, especially when we get to the content part. Actually, it's going to be really key in terms of what type of content do you put out. So I put together a list of how to get your brand out there. You know, you want a great logo, place it everywhere. Write down your brand message. What are the key messages you want to communicate about your brand? And not just to your customers, but to your employees, to your team, to your freelancers, internally as well. Everybody should be singing off the same hymn page. Integrate your brand. Branding extends to every aspect of your business. So how you answer the phone, you know, to, you know, depending on what you sell, are you going to have a uniform, your email signature, you know, your invoices, everything. You know, create a voice for your company that reflects your brand. And we're going to touch on this in more depth in the content marketing module. Your voice should be applied to all written communication and incorporated in the visual imagery and materials of your business, online and offline. So are you going to be friendly? Are you going to be controversial? Are you going to be ritzy, more formal? You know, you get the gist. So just understand what tonality you will have. You know, develop a tagline, sometimes known as a strapline in marketing. You know, where it's a meaningful statement that captures the essence of your brand, that's on everything, that just keeps reminding your customers and your internal staff, employees, freelancers or team of what you stand for. You know, design templates and create brand standards for your marketing materials. All of you should have brand guidelines from the very beginning. It's not something that you should be waiting for until you're making money. You know, having templates and standard is going to contribute to you connecting with your audience. So please don't brush branding off. Any of you that have started your business and you feel like, I've done this, she's teaching me how to suck eggs, go back through it and make sure you're ticking all these boxes. Always be true to your brand and always be consistent. So again, you're going to get a copy of these decks, and this slide will be in there for you to come back to. I just want to say as well, choose your business handle very carefully. I'm going to give you an example. NN Inspirational Gifts. When I started that business, my vision was to start a gift company and a homeware company that had inspirational, loving and motivational messages that were either for your home or you could give to a gift for someone that would lift them up. So maybe rather than buying flowers, or, you know, sometimes you just want to say to someone, well done, or you want to say to someone, I love you, or, you know, just you want to raise someone up, or someone that's ill, you just want to lift their spirits. That was the core of my business. But my first line, my first product range was actually candles. So I got very confused in, you know, a lot of my social media, a lot of the things I was putting out on the internet. Am I a candle seller or am I an inspirational gift seller? Because my first line was only candles and I didn't have anything else. So I chose my handles so many times. One of the things that was great though, I just changed my handles of the same existing social media accounts that I had, or domains. Some of us tend to think, oh, because I'm changing direction, I'm going to set up new social media accounts. You know, if you started something, you can change it, you can rebrand it. You know, try to stay away from keep creating, because every time you do that, you're just wasting time and you're starting from the beginning. If you change direction and you've got a small following that don't understand you, they drop off. The ones that get you and want to continue, they'll keep staying and you'll keep growing. So don't think you need to keep changing. And with your business handle, try not to change. Start with the end in mind. I should have just started with inspirational gifts rather than changing to Natalia Nichols candle, which is what I did. And then when we start introducing other ranges, my candle lovers, it didn't make sense to them because I'm a candle seller. So just start with the end goal in mind, and, you know, choose your handles carefully. Think about them. Don't rush. Even if you're not sure, you know what, either register it, take it, and then if not, you can change it. But just don't be in too much of a haste. So the next module I want to look at, and my favorite, is the customer value journey. So the customer value journey is all about the journey you're going to take your customer on. And the next module we're going to look at after this is the content marketing. And they kind of go hand in hand. So before I start on the customer value journey, everything that we just discussed in branding, it's all relevant till you get to this part. But before we go through the customer value journey, you are going to have to get ready a whole load of content to be able to take your customer through this journey. But I need you to understand the journey first, because that's going to impact massively the content that you're going to put together, which we will look at in the next module. So your customer value journey very much starts at the awareness stage. You need to get noticed. So you need to make your audience aware of you. You need to let them know, I'm here, I'm here. And you're going to either do that through maybe search engine optimization, because if someone is looking for you, they're going to go to a search engine to find you. If you are offering a product and service that you have to educate your audience because it's not something they would have necessarily thought of or they didn't know about, you're going to need to use social media to educate your audience. So depending on what it is that you're selling, that will depend on how you make your target audience aware. So that's how you're really going to just get yourself noticed. So whether it's through social media or whether it's through search optimization, if it is through social media, which is going to be the obvious one for most of you, to be fair, you know, you really need to think about, okay, what platforms does my target audience hang out on? So once you've made your audience aware of you, what do you want next? You want them to engage with you. Remember, you're building a community. You know, you're building a following. You're selling or offering a product or service that people want to be a part of your tribe. And that's how you need to think of it. So you want people to start engaging with you. You want people to start talking. You know, on social media, for you to build traction, especially if we're talking about organic traction and not paid, and we'll touch on this in the social media module, actually you are going to have to get engagement, because that's what's going to set you as an authority. Engagement also does a lot for your search engine optimization, because the search engines will see you as an authority if they can see people engaging with you on your social pages or landing pages. So you're really going to make people aware, and that's going to be through some type of engagement an engagement campaign, and you're really going to offer them content of value. You know, you're really going to talk to them on a personal level. You're then going to engage them and get their comments, get them excited, educate them. And then what you want to do is offer them something of amazing value in exchange for their details. So you want them to subscribe to something. And it doesn't have to be free. It can be paid. But if it's paid, it needs to be something of absolutely amazing value that's a no-brainer for them. That way, what's going to happen here is this is where you'll do email marketing or messenger marketing or text marketing, because if you've got leads now, you can keep communicating with your leads. This is no different to direct marketing. You know, the leaflets that used to come through your door, now that things have gone digitally, you've seen, you know, that's dropped massively in terms of the amount of literature that you would once get through the post or drop through your door. Now you can use things like email marketing, messenger marketing, text campaigns to keep communicating with your leads and keep educating them about you, and also start offering them products and services so you can then go to the next stage and convert them into a customer. So this is your entry point product. You really want them to convert them with something of low value. You see, when someone takes their debit or credit card out their pocket and they spend it with you, what's that doing is it's building trust. The more trust that's built is the more that people buy from you. Remember, we are now in saturated marketplaces. Gone are the days where there's only one place that you go to just to buy your meat, buy your fruit and veg. There's only one car, the Ford car that's made in black, that takes you from A to Z. You are now bombarded with products and services. So you're going to have to install trust in people, and trust is a way of how you'll connect with people, and your audience, your prospects, your customers will get to know you. So once they've bought something to an entry point, now you really want to get them excited of all the possibilities of what your product or service can do for them. You want to onboard them. That's what I like to call it. You want to give them an excitement of what they'll be a part of, how it will change their mind. And then you want to take them up an ascension ladder, and you want to upsell your products or services. All this time, this is a relationship that's being built. So now that someone's gone up the ascension ladder and they feel that your products and service is great, what do they want to do? They want to tell other people. That's what the internet does. That's what social media does. People want to share. They want to advocate. And then from there, you'll have people that will actually, you can do joint ventures with, maybe set a franchise up, and they promote your product and service or sell your products and service, and they take a commission. So, you know, it's a journey. So any of you that are on this workshop thinking, you know, you're just going to find some quick tips and you're going to be ahead in a month, unless you've got a really big marketing budget, it's unrealistic. Selling online, and to be successful at selling online, it's actually it's more of a slow burner. It's a longer burner because the marketplace is so saturated. But at the same time, it's the fact that you can segment your customers and you can find the very, very audience that you know needs, wants to buy your product or service. Make sense? The internet is a place where it's a great place for you to really find people. Once upon a time, you'd put a TV campaign out and it would just go out at 7 o'clock. It's a family show and we know our products and services bought by families, so we'll put it out at that time. Now you can say our product is just bought by women, our product is just bought by children for their adults, our product is just bought by a particular group, depending on race, gender, age. It's a segmentation. So let's look at how do you get people to subscribe? How do you keep getting leads? How do you keep getting leads that convert? And that way you can keep having conversations, so you can keep having a really great flow of traffic going around your customer value journey. It's called a lead magnet. And remember what I'm saying, this customer value journey, you are building a relationship. So your lead magnet is the same thing as saying, what's your telephone number? So you're in Starbucks, your eyes meet, and you think to yourself, okay, there's a little bit of a connection there. You get talking, you realize how much you've got in common. You exchange telephone numbers. You have a series of conversations on the telephone, the mobile, you know, WhatsApp, Slack, whatever platform it is that you use for communication. And you start to find that you're connecting with someone. This is whether it's romantically or even just as a friend or companionship. You know, and I want you to really think about the customer value journey in terms of the laws of intimacy. The aim of the game, the big secret of being a successful digital marketer and selling online is about building relationships. It's psychology meets technology, and it's about getting the balance between the two, and that's what gives you a successful campaign. So to get people to really subscribe to your service so you can keep telling them about you, you want to create a lead magnet. And just remember, it's the equivalent of just getting to know someone. That first step of becoming intimate and breaking down barriers of getting to know someone. So, you know, that'd be the first step. What's your number? So what comes next? You're on the phone, you're talking, you know, you're vibing, you feel there's some type of connection. So you feel like, okay, you know what? Let's go for dinner. So again, you're stepping boundaries, the laws of intimacy. What I mean by that is before you step into someone's personal space, there's a series of laws that we go through as humans. And that's how I want you to think of your customer value journey. And you know, after the entry point offer that I spoke about, where you're going to offer something of low value once they've subscribed, what's next? Your core offer. And that core offer is, can I take you out for dinner? You are breaking down barriers. And that customer value journey can have many more steps to it than what I just gave you on that resource sheet. Yeah, the more stages you've got is the more you're actually building a relationship, and the more you're building down barriers to get closer and closer and closer to your customer. So this is one of the best analogies that I really like using to explain to people of how to successfully sell online. You know, it's the laws of intimacy. So what happens after dinner, guys? It's the product maximizer. Will you marry me? This is your top product. This is the creme de la creme of what you sell. This is the will you marry me? This is you've taken your customer through a series of steps of relationship building, building down barriers, getting closer and closer, taking down the laws of intimacy until you get to that top product maximizer, which is, will you marry me? And then what happens after you get married? You have date night. And date night is simply the return path. So you're taking your customer now, that's right at the top of your ascension ladder, you're taking them back on, and you're going to upsell, downsell, cross-sell. You know, you're going to keep making sure that you're attentive and you make sure you have that quality time. You don't just get married and then life ends. It's all about that return path, and it's all about the date night. So I'm hoping that you can really understand what I mean by a customer value journey. What journey do you want to take your customer on? And within that journey, your aim is to break down the barriers and the laws of intimacy and get closer to your customer. You want to find out more about your customer, offer your customer. You want to treat your customer like a king or a queen, so that they keep coming and they keep returning. And that is how you convert leads. You need to learn how to get leads by getting yourself made aware and noticed. And after you've gotten aware and noticed, you really then want to close on a sale. You want to take them on a journey. It's all about traffic, leads, and conversion. And this is the best way psychologically that I can get you to really understand what I mean by a customer value journey, which, guys, is the exact same thing as a digital sales funnel. I just tend to find that the minute I start talking about sales funnels, it becomes this scientific step. So lead magnet turns into expressions some of you might heard like ethical bribe. Why would you want to give your customer an ethical bribe? You shouldn't want to bribe them full stop. You are here as a business person or entrepreneur to serve your audience. And that's really, really, really important. You know, if you serve your customers, they will serve you back. You need to be sincere and transparent in what you do, and only ever want to cause change, make people's lives better, and elevate and lift people with your product and your service. That's when it comes back tenfold to you. Don't do unto others what you don't like being done to yourself. So don't missell, don't, you know, don't mislead your customers. Be authentic in everything that you do. So hopefully, I'm hoping that some of you are really thinking, okay, what journey can I take my customer on to really get to know me and my business? And then they're going to want to buy from me. So remember, your entry point offer always leads to the core offer of your product or service. So remember what I said, once they've subscribed, you want an entry point offer that's warming them up. It's breaking down the barriers, it's building the relationship, and then you want to go to, can we go out for dinner, which is your core offering. So entry point offer leads directly to your core service. So some of you on this workshop might have a core offer, but you don't have an entry point offer, and it might be something that you think of. So even for myself and the candles, one of my lead magnets is a self-care book. Most of us that love candles are very much into self-care, self-love, meditation, feeling zen, and it's a completely and utterly free book. You know, the entry point offer is, you know, a real small candle, and you get a free candle lighter with it. But my main product is actually diffusers and candles, and these gorgeous bell candles that come in silver and rose gold that are more higher end, but I don't introduce that straight away. And there's so many examples. It doesn't matter whether it's a product or service, it's just about brainstorming around it. But your entry point offer leads directly to your core offer. So let's get into the next module, which is content marketing. Right, this is absolutely one of my favorites. And to tell you the truth, the customer value journey and content marketing kind of sit hand in hand. And, you know, let's just remember what marketing is. Marketing is the practice of promoting and selling products or services to people. In terms of traditional marketing, that is actually the definition of marketing. So what do we mean by content marketing? Content is the way that you are going to establish relationships with your audience. That's the way that you're going to build each segment of your customer value journey. It's going to be through content. So I really want you to think about before and after. So I want you to think about how did your customer feel about what they had before they came into contact with your product and service, or if they're an existing customer, a new product or service. Like, what do they have? What did they feel like? What was their average day like? You know, what's their status? You know, what's their good versus evil? What is it that they stand for? And it's about segmenting your market and looking at your products and services and thinking, okay, for each product and service I have, you know, once each customer segment has experienced my product or service, how do they now feel after that? What do they now have that they didn't have before? How do they now feel that they wasn't feeling before using my product or service? What's their average day like now? You know, how are they feeling about their status? What's their now good versus evil? And I really want to give you an analogy for this just to understand it. There is a company that I saw an advert for, and I just feel like it is the perfect example. It's about a photo book that gets sent to you every month. So it will print everything off Instagram, pull it into a photo album, and pop that into the post to you every single month so you can keep your memories so they don't just get stuck on your mobile device. So this advert starts with this woman in the bath, the bubbles up to her neck. She has a glass of wine and she's just reflecting on her day. Her day is of her 3 children running around, driving her crazy. She's shouting at them. She's trying to get the lunch box ready. The dog's running around everywhere, leaving muddy footprints. She can't get them out the door quick enough. Then she has got loads of work to do. She's working from a home office. Her day is just hectic. It doesn't stop. So she's at the end of the day and she's just feeling unappreciative and she's had enough. And then after she gets out the bar, she goes downstairs in the kitchen, she opens up a package and it's a photo album and it's got all the memories of her children for that month. And in that moment, she feels that she's so lucky. She has so much having a family. There's some people that can't even have a family. Yeah, she feels really good about herself that, you know, her children can look back and see all the memories and the great things that they did. You know, her average day now changes from being absolutely awful and stressed out to feeling like, actually, this is worthwhile. Yeah, life's hard sometimes, but this is what it's all about, the memories. Her status then goes from feeling like a really bad mum that was shouting before for the whole day, you know, trying to spread herself thin between kids and the work and not feeling like a good mum, to now feeling like a brilliant mum. You know, her good versus evil is that it's all worth it. You know, this is why she wanted children. It's all about passing on memories that you've got to cherish, and these are the things that they need to see when they're older. So can you understand with that story of an advert that I saw, how it followed the exact same format of what I'm explaining to you now, before and after? How does your customer, how would your customer feel before they come across your products and services? And what is it about your products and services that makes them feel different after? What problem is it that they've got that you've managed to solve? What have you helped them overcome? And your customers, there'll be different segments of your customers. You want to create a before and after grid for each customer segment. That way you can create relevant content. Remember I said to you in the branding module of this, you know, you can't be everything to everyone. You want a real niche marketplace. If you've got a niche marketplace, what it means now is that if you have 2, 3, 4, 5 customer segments, you can start putting content out to your different customer segments. But now there's not loads. Else otherwise, could you imagine the amount of content that you're going to have to produce to start building and breaking down those laws of intimacy, to start building relationships with your customer? Because your content needs to be able to connect with your audience. You need to produce content that makes your target audience feel like, oh my God, they so get me. They so understand me. That's me. That's why the advert that I just explained to you, I connected with it so much because I felt like that was me. 3 kids that run me ragged, run me wild. I've got my own business. It's like spinning plates on sticks and they're going to drop at any moment. And my days are quite high pressured. So instantly, I connected with that advert and that content. And that is what you need to do for your audience. So what I want you to do next is really look at your target audience. If you're looking at the different customer segments you've had and you're going to be creating content to these customer segments, you need to get to know these customers. Makes sense? So you really want to understand, what are their goals and values? You know, what books do they read? What magazines do they read? Blogs, websites? What conferences do they attend? What gurus do they look up and follow? And, you know, any other source of information that is relevant to enable you to get to know them. You really want to understand their challenges and their pain points. What are their challenges around the product and service that you offer? What are their pain points? You know, you really want to look at what are their possible objections of not buying from you or subscribing from you or following from you, depending on what your objective is. And, you know, the role in the purchase. You're starting to see more and more now, you know, things like double glazing, the plumbing, anything to do with the home. A lot of people that are offering these services actually want it signed off by the woman of the house and not just the man of the house or both partners of the house, because, you know, people are finding that actually a role in the purchase isn't just one person. And sometimes a lot of returns and cancellations happen because one partner in the household isn't happy. So that's just an example of role of the purchase. You could be purchasing things for your children. It's your child choosing it and wanting it, but as a parent, you're the one buying it. So just think about these things. Think about who your customer is. And it stems just outside of basic demographics of name, age, gender, marital status, number of children, location. These things are important, but you really want to get into the essence of really knowing who your customer is. Customer avatars is something that if you typed into a search engine, especially on YouTube, you will find loads of really useful videos out there. And what I want you to do is really, you know, think about who your customer is. So I'm going to give you a really quick example. I know we're running out of time. So for my candles, one of my avatars is Katie. Katie gets up at 6 a.m. every single morning. She goes for a jog around the park and she lives opposite there. Once she comes back, she gets in the shower, she washes her hair. She's a vegan, so all the products she's using are vegan friendly. Every morning for breakfast, she has a bowl of fruit. She leaves an hour earlier just so she can get to work and avoid all the rush on the tubes. She is in middle management and she's often thinking of other people so much more within her job and with her family. She doesn't get much time to herself. Everything is about serving other people. So once Katie gets home in the evening, all she wants to do is relax and have some me time. She finds it very difficult to meet other people because she is such an introvert, because of the amount of people that she manages and pretends to be an overt every day, that she just doesn't have the energy when she gets in. Can you see the level of detail that I went into how Katie feels emotionally about life, what she is, who she is, and what she represents? And that was just like a synopsis. There's so much more detail. That is how you want to look at your customer segments, because when you're creating content, you want to create content that really, really connects with them. For you to get noticed in this busy marketplace, remember what I said, 40,000 adverts a day is what the average person sees. You're going to have to be able to connect with people. This is, guys, again, psychology meets technology. You really, really need to get that human interaction to be able to connect with people. And you're going to do that through content, but who is your content for? Understand the person that is reading, watching, and engaging with your content. So, you know, looking at things, how are you going to do that? You're going to look at things like tonality. You know, make sure you've got a great punchy headline. If you don't have a punchy headline, within 2-3 seconds, someone's gone on to something else. They're not even going to read on your post, your blog, your video, anything. So headlines are important. Use a story. Stories are fantastic. They're a great way of connecting with people. And the story should resonate with who's reading or watching it. It shouldn't just be about a story of you. If it is a story about you, it needs to be, again, going back to that before and after grid. It needs to be something that explains, well, what someone has, how they feel. You know, it needs to be able to really connect with your audience. The stories are really useful. If we look at Hollywood, they all tend to follow a particular story format. You introduce the characters. From the character, the conflict gets introduced, then how you overcame that conflict, and then in the end, whether it's going to be a sad or a happy ending, in did you overcome it and get the greatness that you wanted, depending on what the story is, or was the conflict overcome and maybe there was another outcome that wasn't expected. You will tend to find that most Hollywood films follow that format. That is the format that you want to follow with storytelling when you're creating content. And you want to play to emotions. Remember I said this is about connection, this is about human to human. So these emotions might not be great, but these are the emotions that as humans, all of us battle with in some way or another. So by connecting with these emotions, it means that someone's going to look for you towards help and look at you and your content as an authority. So you want to play to emotions like pride, greed, lust, anger, gluttony, envy, sloth. You know, what are the benefits of the product within this all this stuff, the storytelling, you know, the emotions that you're using. You want to outline the core benefits of the product, what makes it stand out. You know, you want to demonstrate or prove what you are saying, so you can give people an assurance that what you are telling them and what your product or service can do is absolute truth. And use bullet points. Try not to use long, really, really long essays, or funny enough, on Facebook, it's a law. It's just the law of social media marketing, what we're trying to do. Longer posts on ads do tend to convert better, but they're laid out very, very well. They're very clear, they're very concise, they stick to short sentences and paragraphs, and they use bullet points. So just, you know, be aware of the layout of your content as well. You know, and just a few content extras. Content covers such a vast amount in digital marketing, because the content is anything that is really written, said. It's content. It covers so much. So testimonials, don't make them up, but make sure you've got testimonials. I'm an Amazon seller. I don't just sell my own candles or my own Shopify store. I actually sell on Amazon as well. How many of us buy from Amazon and your purchase is decided by what the reviews say and how many reviews it gets? So testimonials are really, really important bit of content. Price. Make sure you test the price. The market will tell you the correct price and justify it. My candles, they're luxury, really high-end candles. When I first started selling them, who knew you could sell a product too cheap? Well, it's often said, but I wasn't listening, but I learnt the hard way. My candles are priced way too reasonably. As soon as I raised the price, guess what, guys? The purchases went up, sales went up. You know, offering guarantees. I offer a guarantee on anything. If you're not happy with something, simply have your money back. My name, my brand, my reputation is worth a lot more than that. So, you know, legal guarantees 14 days, recommended is 14 to 30. But having a guarantee, again, it builds trust. And from the customer value journey, I think you've got the point of how important building trust is. You know, having bonuses, limited time. All your content should have a call to action. Every single piece of content that you provide should have a call to action, whether it's subscribing to something, whether it's downloading something, whether it's learn more, whether it's just simply liking a page or a comment, doesn't matter. Every single piece of content should have a call to action. And PSs are a great way in sales letters. And when I say sales letters, like within your emails, just to kind of emphasize a strong point or a selling point. Or if you have got a long post or long copy, it just reminds the person of what the point of what they're reading is. You could be connecting with them so much in the subject area. You know, you want your reader, your prospect, to remember why it is that you're telling them what you're telling them. So PSs are very, very useful for that. Email marketing. So this is whether it's email marketing, you can now do messenger marketing, which is a really, really great way to convert over email. You can do text marketing. So remember I said in the customer value journey, after making yourself aware and getting noticed, and after engaging, you really want your prospect to subscribe to you. And by subscribing to them, you can now send a series of program messages after the event. So whether they've signed up to a subscription list, they might have purchased something, they might be getting something for free, whatever it is that they've signed up for, you know, you can now send them a series of program messages through email marketing, which includes messenger and includes texting. You know, they should be personalized. And you use this to maintain contact and continue to promote automatically. This is where psychology meets technology. You know, there are various softwares that you can use that can create you landing pages that you can get someone to subscribe to you. From that subscription, they instantly go into a mailing list, and from that mailing list, you've got an autoresponder that can fire out a series of messages. And guess what? These autoresponders can even fire out messages depending on where someone is in your customer value journey, or your funnel, some of you might call it. And it can even shoot out messages and email series programmed for your different customer segments. So you're communicating with your prospects in the way that they would like in the different segments. So there's some really powerful software out there that is very easy to use. One of the days where you're going to be charged through your nose, have to get someone to set it up for you. But this is all automation. That whole customer value journey, the psychology bit is what you call the front end. The front end is what your customer sees, and it's the journey you're taking them through. The back end is all tech, and it's the automated process that you're going to take your customer through, which cuts out so much workforce. It keeps you organized, it keeps your business organized. Automation is what makes it possible to have a business with well over £1 million turnover, of the luxury of sitting in your house. This is the beauty of digital marketing. You can have a whole e-commerce store and be drop shipping and be making money just from your laptop or your desktop because of technology. And this is what's so beautiful about digital marketing. So email marketing is a key part of digital marketing to make sure that you're keeping communication with your customers, but these messages are program messages, and there's also a lot of data that comes with them that will tell you about your audience. So just a quick checklist. So your customer life cycle of that customer journey in terms of content, your aims are, you know, you want your prospect to get to know you, like you, trust you, try you, buy from you, whether you're upselling, downselling or cross-selling, and you want to keep repeating that with follow-up offers using autoresponders, funnels, referral schemes, and make sure that your administration, the whole process, is automated through software. And guys, anybody that is now sitting there thinking, yeah, but that's the problem, you know, I don't really do tech, it doesn't really work for me, I really want you to come away from that way of thinking. I trust you, I promise you, should I say, sorry, a lot of the software out there now, you can either find freelancers and outsource it at a much more affordable price. You don't even have to get services from your own country anymore. You can go to other places, which means you can get that cheaper. Or actually, you'd be surprised with these softwares, most of them are free at the point of entry or will give you a trial. You can figure out how to use them yourself. Just try. Like, don't get complacent and think, yeah, tech's not me. It's not what it was. You don't have to know a whole load of coding anymore. All this stuff is just automated for you, and the user experience is for any level. So get over that fear and just start trying. That is what I would definitely say. So going back to autoresponders, you know, what are you going to put in those autoresponders? There's an 80-20 rule. You really want it to be 80% more educational and informative, 20% selling. So your content should have news, it should be valuable, you want reviews in there, any warnings that are associated with the marketplace, product or the service, new ideas, the social element. You can even sell advertising space and even put recruitment campaigns on autoresponders, but you really want to use it to build a relationship. You want to promote your other products and services. You want to promote any affiliate of joint ventures, and you want to give tips and advice. You know, you always want a subject as well that's catchy. Headlines full stop are important, even on email responders. And you always want to be using someone's personal name to make them feel like you're speaking to them directly. You know, make not just the subject heading, but the content itself intriguing. You know, it needs to provoke, it needs to be mind provocative. It needs to really think, I want to keep reading on. I want to get to the punchline. And like I said, you really want to be giving more information than you do want to be giving promotion. So the last thing we want to look at is content with things like pop-up boxes. You know, if you're not going to be using your, it's not that you're not, I'm suggesting that you don't use your email autoresponder to just bombard your prospects with promotions. You can do that by using pop-up boxes and opt-ins. So as people are going to a landing page, going to your website, going to an opt-in form, opt-in forms are something that they would fill out if you were trying to get them to subscribe, maybe buy your entry point offer. It all depends on your business. Everything that I'm giving you in this workshop is a framework. It's a framework you then have to adapt to your business. It's not a one size fits all. But pop-up boxes are a great way to really push sales and promotion without bombarding people with emails, messages on Messenger, or texts that are just full of promotions, because that will put them off. So next, we want to look at analytics. So analytics is really key. We tend to make a lot of assumptions as human beings, and we do it in business a lot. A lot of us, the businesses that we're starting, we are the target audience, or we feel like we understand the target audience. So we make a lot of decisions based on what we think and feel. The problem is, as an entrepreneur and business owner, we're way too close to the business to really make those assumptions sometimes and get them right. And why would we make assumptions in the digital age with so much analytics available to us at our fingertips? It doesn't make any sense. The digital age gives us so much data, there is no need to make assumptions anymore. So with analytics, some people just get scared of it because they think, oh my gosh, there's graphs, there's figures, there's numbers. It's just not me. I am one of those people, by the way. I'm definitely more of a creative. But analytics is the reason why I have been profitable and I've managed to scale my business. Please don't ignore it. So what you want to do in the first instance is you really want to define your business and personal goals. Remember I said to you right at the beginning of this workshop, you know, be clear what your goals are. Is it you want more time? Is it you want to be financially free? Do you need to look after your family? Whatever it is, be clear on that goal, because you want to use the analytics to make sure that you're getting to that goal. That's what the analytics is for. Like I said, don't make assumptions. Discover insights through your reports. Your reporting is what's going to tell you who is your target audience, where are they hanging out. They're going to give you a lot of the information on the customer avatar sheet, so you don't have to make assumptions. In the beginning, for you, those of you that are starting, you'll have no data. In that instance, you can use case studies, you can research. Like I said, we are in the information age. So if you haven't got any movement to have any data, make sure you're still collecting as much data and looking at case studies as much as you can. So you're not making assumptions, but you're making informed decisions. So in terms of using analytics, like I said, understand what are your business goals, and you're going to use Google Analytics. There are other analytics softwares to use. In the beginning, this is absolutely free, and one of the biggest search engines is Google, so it's just the obvious one that you are actually going to be using to be able to track what's going on with your traffic, with your leads, and with your customers. But like I said, just remember, think about what your business goals are. You know, when you're using something like Google Analytics, just define your business goals. So I want you to answer 4 important questions when it comes to analytics. The 4 important questions you want to answer are: who are my audience? I spent a lot of time in this workshop talking around audience and human-to-human connection and making sure you connect with people. But if you've got data that tells you who your audience is, wow, doesn't it make that job a lot easier? You want to know, how did they find you? Through what medium did your audience find you? Through what marketing campaign? Was it Facebook? Was it search engine optimization? Was it an offline campaign that brought them online? You know, that still exists depending on what some of your businesses are doing, that you're using an offline marketing vehicle and you're driving the traffic online. But be clear, how did they find you? Because how they found you, you want to keep doing that some more. Then you want to know, what are they doing on your landing page? What are they doing in your funnel? What are they doing on your website, depending on your product or service? You want to find out what they're doing, because it's just so much insightful information. Sorry guys, let's skip back there, so we haven't finished yet. Sorry about that. Yeah, you really want to understand, what are they doing? That's just going to give you so much more insight, and it will also, if things aren't going right, it will also bring about a lot of correction of what you might need to change to get them to do what you want them to do. You know, and how much are they worth to you? We've got different customer segments. Your analytics might point to the fact that actually the amount that it costs you in a particular marketing activity to the product or service that your customer is buying, the money you're spending on marketing just isn't worth it. You could have another product where you're spending a fraction of that marketing campaign and you're selling so much more of that product or service. So understand, what are your customer segments worth to you? Make sense? So let's look at, how do you get all this data? Well, Google Analytics, like any other analytics that you can use, you're going to have a tracking code, and those tracking codes need to be installed on your website. If you use a website builder, whether it's WordPress, Shopify, Wix, it doesn't matter. You're going to be able to install that. You can use a plugin where it will just automatically put it on all pages. It's a relatively simple thing to do. It just looks more complicated than it is, because we all start seeing coding and we think, out of my remit. Not at all. Then you want to you really want to ask yourself, what is your objectives and what is your action? So is your objective to have more sales, awareness, or leads, etc.? You know, who is my online audience? You know, data, what is the data actually telling me about, you know, my audience, about where my sales are coming from, how I'm making people aware of me, where are leads coming from? You know, data is absolutely key. And lastly, with all that data, you then want to scale and target more people like them. If you can find out who and where your audience is, depending on what your objective is, you scale and you target more people like that. And that's what you're using the analytics for. Don't make assumptions. You know, and be very, very clear on your objective. If you are in the baby stages of your business, your objective actually isn't sales just yet. Your objective is actually more awareness. But if your objective is sales, look at the data of what's been going on with the leads and awareness and who your audience is to really close on that the sales. You can't run away from sales. So there's some people that set up online businesses because they don't like talking to people, or it's a way to hide behind hardware, a way to hide behind technology. No matter how you communicate, whether it's through written content, video, face-to-face, you're going to have to sell. So in that sense, be just clear around what your objectives are. But that is really what you're going to want to use analytics for. You want to turn your goals into profit. How many of you have ever heard the expression, turn your passion into profits? You want to turn what your goals are into profits, but you need to measure your goals and objectives through data. That's what's changed in the digital world. You need to measure where you are. Until you measure exactly where you are, you're not going to know exactly where you're going, which means you're just back into that assumption mode and just like doing guesswork. Analytics takes that out of it, and it can give you so much more of a targeted approach, meaning you get to your destination a lot quicker. So please don't run away from analytics. You know, the data can tell you so many different things. It can tell you the number of visitors that you've got, the number of page views, the number of sessions that your prospects and customers are spending on your site, your funnel or landing pages, you know, time spent on your site, you know, the visitors, the city or region they're coming from, source of referral, where are these visitors actually coming from, the browser type, you know, is it Chrome, is it Explorer, is it Firefox, is it Safari, the operating system. There's so much that this data can tell you that you can use that to make your business better, to get yourselves more traffic, leads and or conversions, depending on where you are in your journey. It's absolutely crazy. You know, my candle business, we found out that literally 70% of our customers buy through their mobile phone. So what view I'm using, you know, what my site looks like on mobile view is really key. You know, I already know that if I launch in America, more than likely I'll do really, really well, because I get a phenomenal amount of traffic from America, especially from LA and New York. So, you know, data can tell you an absolute awful lot. And using analytics, you can be clear on where people heard about you, which web pages that you have that they visit the most. Like I said, what device they're using, is it mobile phone or desktop? For my business, I have to make sure that my mobile phone view is absolutely on point, because that's where people are purchasing from. You know, where visitors are located in the world. I just gave you an example of, I already got indication that I could launch in another part of the world and more than likely do very, very well for the amount of traffic that I get there. And the impact of your social media accounts. And this isn't just a Google Analytics tool as well. Every single social media platform offers you insights. Facebook Insights is amazing. And remember, Facebook owns Instagram. So you can find out so much about your customer. The more you find out about your customer, especially if you're using things like Facebook, you can retarget them, because you know what the interests, the likes, the dislikes are of your prospects. Meaning that now you can launch campaigns directly to people like that. You can actually say, Facebook, find me people like the people that have been responding to my engagement campaign. So data is just key. This is another thing that's really, really going to get you ahead, is understanding the data. And video, oh guys, video is just so key and important now. I just gave you an example of Facebook, and this is one of the things that I love about Facebook and why Facebook advertising does work very well. So you can have a video that you put out. You might be doing an engagement campaign. Let's say you're at the beginning of, you know, your customer value journey, and you just want to get noticed. You want to make people aware of you. You might put an engagement campaign out there, and you might do a video. Let's say that video is 5 minutes long. You could run that campaign for 2-3 weeks, maybe even a month. And then what you can do is you can say, Facebook, I want to now put together a marketing campaign where I want to push traffic to it for people to buy from me. And you can do conversion campaigns. So your aim is conversion, sales. But I want to target people like the people that watched 100% of my video or more, because we can safely assume that if someone watched 100% of your video, they were interested in what you're saying and what you have to offer. You could say 75%, you could say 50% of your video. So videos made it a very powerful analytic tool, especially on a platform like Facebook, where you can use it to find out who's responding to your videos, and you can create lookalike audiences, or you can create audiences based on the amount of people that watch your videos, and then create even more lookalike audiences. So now your campaigns are going out to people that would more than likely respond to them, because what you've done is there's something called a pixel. So Google's got analytical code, Facebook has a pixel. That pixel you would have installed on your call to action, probably your landing pages, and boom, that pixel's picking up data, which is now meaning you are targeting the exact right people that you need to. So do you see how key data is for growth? It's absolutely vital. So what I want to come to lastly, as I run over, as I always do, this is the last module, is social media. Like I said, social media, it's a topic within itself. But really, just to introduce it, you really should have a strategy in place. So you really should look at all the different platforms and think to yourself, okay, which ones are my prospects or my customers hanging out on? You want to create an account, you want to personalize it and brand it, you want to put a content strategy in place, a growth strategy in place, and a retargeting strategy in place. That's really, really important. Your aim is to grow a community, is to grow a tribe. And we really need to look at social media and think, what are the reasons why people share? Why do people use social media? Well, the reasons people use social media, the most popular one is because it's cute, it's controversial, it's shocking, it's sexy, it's unbelievable, it's exclusive, random, it's funny, it's valuable, it's geeky. You know, these are the reasons why people use social media. People do not want to be sold to on social media. Your prospect lives on social media. 3.8 billion active social media users in the world, and it's rising with the use of smartphones. You know, on average, across the world, people are spending 144 minutes daily on social media on any type of advice. So can you see how huge your marketplace is? And can you see how many people are hanging out on social media now? Like I said, just remember the 40,000 ads a day. Just remember you need to get noticed. Just remember you need to be in a niche marketplace. But also remember that it's for the taking, especially right now in this time. We're at the peak of the digital stage. So before you miss out on any opportunities, start your journey now. And if you started, really start to throw yourself into it and get to that level of scaling. You know, what do people do? People don't want to be sold to on social media. Makes sense? You know that because you all hang out on social media. You don't want to keep seeing loads and loads of adverts. How many of us are like, oh, again, you know, even YouTube is so frustrating. My children are watching it and there's advert every 2 seconds where I'm forced to have to pay just not to get in the adverts. But you can, through social media and through content marketing, without directly selling and becoming a pestilence, you can reach new audiences, you can create new opportunities, you can target specific types of customers, and you can build relationships and networks that will grow your community or your tribe. You can get noticed on social media, raise awareness, you know, whether it's about your service levels, the service levels of the industry. You can start engagement, which is so key for your customer value journey, having conversations and increase your engagement. You can establish yourself as a thought leader to your following, to your community, to your tribe, whatever you want to call it. Establishing yourself as an authority and a leader is really, really key in terms of building your own community. So social media also helps you with your search engine optimization. It's going to help you rank on your search engines. You know, the search engines, Google being the biggest one, the more it sees you having activity on social media, the more it sees you as an authority. So automatically on the organic SEO, that is going to help massively push you up the list. Plus it's creating something called backlinks. The more backlinks that the search engine sees, the better. But it wants to see activity on your social media pages and engagement. So the search engines love seeing authority. That is what really pushes you. That means it attracts more people to your site because you're going to be getting more known about. You know, other people that want to list you, know you, joint ventures. It's just going to attract more people to you. Social media is great at that. It's great to gain valuable customer data, find out, you can do survey monkeys with your prospects and your customers to find out what you should be doing more of, less of, how to improve yourself. And it gives you data and insights. Like I said, analytics is key, and every single social media platform, all of them give you data and give you insights to help you build and grow your business. And it also helps you keep on top of the competition. Find out what they're doing great, what you could do even better or greater, you know, things that you think they're not even doing at all that you could be doing. It's a great way just to keep your eye on the marketplace and keep your way ahead of your competitors. So the next question is, you know, to build a marketing strategy, I want you to ask yourself, what content should I post? We've covered content marketing, guys, so you've got this. You should have this covered. You want to create posts that are going to connect. You need to get to know your audience and understand the content that's going to make them connect with you and start that human-to-human relationship. You know, you want to make sure you're posting at the best times. You know, if you know who your audience is, you know when they're about and you know when they're on social media. So it's really, really key that you're engaging with your followers at times that suits them. You know, you want to do posts on social media that have call to action, CTA. You make sure every single post, I've said it before in this workshop, has a call to action on your landing page, your web page, whether you're doing events, your Eventbrite page, whatever the case may be. You should be having a call to action and driving that person to an action, whether it's to follow, whether it's to sign up for something, whether it's to leave the social media platform and go somewhere else. And ask yourself, who are your most influential followers that engage with you the most? You want to find more people like them, and you also want them to become your brand advocates and make sure they are promoting you, your brand ambassador, should I say, sorry, and they're promoting you at all times and also bringing business your way. So make sure you keep engaged with them. And remember, you really need to grab attention with headlines. You have seconds before people move on again. Our memories are literally like goldfish memories. They're terrible. You're doing something. How many of you are looking at something? I don't know, the kids might say something, someone in your office might say something, a family member, a friend might say something. And you're like, what was I doing again? What was that? And it could have been interesting, but now you've just moved on. So you really want to make sure those headlines are punchy and catchy. There's a lot of competition out there, and social media is not always free. I know you might hear about a lot of programs, a lot of schemes, a lot of advice that will say, you know, rocket your skills just on organic search only without spending any money. It's not really true. And I use the word really. In some cases, yep, it can ring true, because you could be in a completely empty marketplace, a complete market and a complete set of people. Does that make sense? Where your keywords, what you're using, you've got absolutely no competition, so it's all great. But as long as you do have some competition, I'm going to be honest with you, you're going to have to pay to get ahead. You can build organically, so don't think I'm saying that you can't. But if you're going to go for the organic approach and your budgets are limited, I'm going to be honest with you, you're going to need to take more time, and just accept that. Because what happens is with the organic, when people think, oh, I'm posting, I'm not seeing anything, you've got to keep going. It's a bit like the man that's chiseling through the wall and he's probably only a metre away, then he just decides to give up. If you're going to go down the organic road, understand that it's going to be a lot more timely, but keep going and cracking with it. And just remember, guys, once it's live, it's live. Once you put something out there, you can't take it back. And I could tell you some horror stories about that. So, you know, just make sure the attention to details are there. So the 5 steps to creating a social media strategy, you really want to look at who is your audience, what's your overall goal, which social media platforms are your audience hanging out on, because they're not hanging out on them all. You don't need to create an account, every social media account for your audience. You really want to be on the ones that they are on primarily. It's a lot of work, social media marketing. You know, your brand, your tonality, is really, really important. Everything you set out in your brand guidelines should be entwined into your social marketing strategy and your content. And just ask yourself, what are you good at in terms of, you know, the content, social media, and connecting with people? And whatever it is, keep doing more. As simple as that. And, you know, for any of you that are right at the beginning as well, or any of you that are feeling overwhelmed at the moment, that, you know, this selling online digital marketing thing is really difficult, just start with one social media account. You know, because otherwise you just overwhelm yourself. Get one right and then do the other. Sometimes we're constantly against this clock, and it's a clock that we've created because we just want to get to that point of financial freedom, that point of, you know, saying, yes, I've done it, or being successful and making the money. It's a journey. You've got a journey as an entrepreneur and a marketeer. So embrace that journey. Yeah. And so just be really, really clear that, heard of that expression? The race is not for the swift, it's for those that can endure. I really want you to remember that. So if you are feeling overwhelmed, you are struggling, just start with one. And when you start with that one, you really want to be able to define what the goal is, list what software and technology that you need to achieve the goal, and get to know it and make yourself familiar with it. Identify any barriers and conflicts, and just remember, practice makes permanent. Like when I said list softwares, you've got scheduler softwares. If you're doing Instagram, there's Instagram apps that you can use to do posts. You know, video is key. You're to succeed in social media, you're going to have to get your head around video marketing. So just understanding maybe what hardware and technology that you can use to create posts that will really create awareness and engagement. Social media strategy is the key part of your customer value journey, of the first 2 steps, which is making yourself aware to your prospect and also getting your prospect community and followers to engage with you. So you are going to need things to make sure that your posts are putting out the right type of content and information. So I'm just very quickly, just going to go through the different social media platforms. You've got Twitter. You can easily promote your research by providing links to your blog stories, journal articles and news items. You can reach a large number of people quickly through tweets and retweets. Follow the work of other experts in your field and build relationship with experts and other followers. Like I said, not every platform for everyone. Twitter has seen a decline with Instagram, but Twitter is still a great platform depending on what your product and service is. We got Facebook. You can use Facebook to talk to existing and potential customers by posting and receiving messages. But don't use Facebook too aggressively to promote your products and services. Facebook is a classic example of people are not hanging out on social media to be sold to. So you're going to have to use what we went through in content marketing to really engage with that audience and have a call to action that people that may be interested, you'll take them somewhere else or offer them something. But in general, you don't want to be aggressive in promoting your products. You'll have a much more greater success if you share information related to your business that is actually useful or interesting to the person hanging out on the platform. Next, we have Instagram. In short, the point of Instagram is to make connections with people who see the world in interesting ways. You can find and follow people based on the kinds of images that inspire them. And if they like yours, they follow back. Great way how many influencers grew their accounts. The simple mechanism of liking and commenting provide great fun and feedback. And any of you that use Instagram would have seen quite a big decline last year, around about August, probably about a year ago, where organically that whole, well, you like me, your following's going to keep growing, it just declined. They want their ad money. Like I said, social media isn't always free, but Instagram is a great place with the following you back to really build momentum and build your following up there. And it's a great visual site. So for any of you that might be in beauty, food, anything where you sell a visual product or service, Instagram is really great. You can use images and videos to tell a story, get people interested. You can use hashtags to target different people and groups, but go easy on the hashtags, please. And you can become or follow influencers, brands or people. And if you want to be an influencer, Instagram is obviously the obvious platform. And if you want people to endorse your product and know about it more, influencing on Instagram is a great way to go. A strategy that works very well for my candles. LinkedIn, you can help you grow your business or a career. LinkedIn is a valuable resource for career and business professionals to network, obtain resources, support and build relationships with potential customer clients and partners. LinkedIn, you can have a business page, you can have a personal page. You can encourage your community or your followers to follow you and become brand advocates. You can make your profile search engine friendly. Have any of you noticed that if you're looking for an individual and you type their name in on Google or any search engine, LinkedIn is what will come at the top. So LinkedIn is actually great for your SEO in that sense. Really important that on your LinkedIn profiles, business or personal, you are using keywords of what people would search for your business and product for. That's really vital within your profile page. You can generate interest by making connections and using direct marketing. What do I mean by that? LinkedIn is where Facebook was in 2011. It's a great place where you can make connections for absolutely free and send a message to people, just like how you could pop something in the post or put something through someone's letterbox. It is the new direct marketing. It's a great place to share product news and thought leadership content and really connect with your audience there. It's really a platform for professional people. And like I said, depending on who your audience is will depend on what platform you're kind of going to give it your all. So LinkedIn tends to be, when LinkedIn is a platform that when you're successful on, you don't need to use many other platforms for that. But again, it depends on your business, product or service. YouTube. Come on, guys, you've got your own TV station. You've got your own TV station, your own TV show. They're absolutely free to market your products and services and yourself. Video is one of the most popular content formats and it's regularly shared via social media. Google and other search engines tend to favor video, so sharing via YouTube with good titles and description and tags is a great way to improve your search. Don't forget, YouTube is owned by Google as well. So, you can have your own TV station, be a thought leader and create shareable content. You can think about creating informative and engaging videos for your audience, and you can look for potential joint ventures to help you grow your channel. YouTube is very fast and up and coming, and it's a great platform that complements really, really well with Instagram. But again, it just simply depends on what your business or service is and what your business model is. But an absolutely great platform. So like I said, consider paying. It's not always free social media. If you pay, you will reach and have more awareness and audience engagement. You'll have more impact across all platforms as well. And especially if your goal is more sales and growth orientated, paying's definitely worth it. But if you are just starting out, just get used to putting together your strategy, get used to posting, get used to putting the content together, the technology and the software, and making sure you're connecting with your audience before you start paying. Start paying where you know your way around social media more, because otherwise it's a bit like the stock market. It will take your money and you'll get no return on it. So apps that you can use that are great is Later. Later is a fantastic app where you can schedule all your posts. You can build out hashtags. There's so many things that it integrates within all the platforms. It's brilliant. And there are loads of schedules. I'm just giving you an example. I'm not saying that you should use Later. There are loads of schedulers. But what I am saying is don't get into that habit of posting daily. It's really time consuming. You know, try and put a strategy together for a month that, you know, if you're in e-commerce, have your Christmas campaign ready and everything's scheduled out in Later. You know, it could be Mothering Sunday. There's so many events in the calendar and so many things that are topical in terms of a newsworthy, you know, what's trending on the internet that relates to your product, service and market sector. Have a content strategy, and a scheduler is a great way to put all that information and schedule it out. So now your social media strategy becomes manageable, because if you just do it on a whim daily, you'll do nothing else or get nothing else done within your digital marketing plan. And there's a lot more to be done just in social media. So definitely advise a scheduler app. Canva, anybody that's not using Canva, I really want you to go and open up an account straight after this workshop. It's a really easy to use graphic design app. So you can design social media posts quickly and easily, your banners, for your social media pages. It's got different templates all across social media formats, ready for you just to upload in the right file size and format. And it's great to add text and logos and images to your videos or create infographics. Really, really great tool. And it's a way where you don't have to be paying someone to do things for you. You can do it yourself. You've also got Grammarly. I'm actually dyslexic, so I can't live without Grammarly. You know, once it's live, it's live. You heard me say that. So just be clear. There's some people that can't wait to tell you that you've got a grammar or spelling mistake. So this app is fantastic at picking all that up before you put it out live, and saves you a lot of embarrassment, because I know about that too. So we've come to the end of the workshop. What are your next steps from here? Well, I hope I've given you some information, some nuggets that you can really use and implement. And there's only so much that someone can go through in an hour and a half. But I'm hoping that I've given you a format and structure that's really going to make some significant changes for you. What I would say is, to get a copy of the decks, please do visit my Facebook group, which is How to Learn Digital Marketing at Home. It's on the screen, and it's also going to be it's on the screen, is in the presentation. It's also going to be on your screen that you can just click the link to. So I really want you to join that. That's where you can get a copy of the deck, and there's loads of free resources. Please do follow me on Facebook, Natalia Nicholson Official. Again, it's not just about following for me to get the like. I post a lot of information on there. I have the book of a month. I have a podcast. I give away free resource. I do absolute free training live every single month. So please do make sure that you follow me and the Natalia Nicholson Official Facebook page, where there are a lot of things that I can really help you with and enhance your digital marketing journey and selling online. I also have a page called Women in Digital Business. So for all the women, all the ladies that are listening to this workshop, if you're in a position where you're serious and you know you're ready to start your business, or you started it and it's not going how you want it to go, and you find that you're hitting a bit of a brick wall and you don't know exactly what it is or where you need to start to just kind of make sure you're getting that traffic, getting that leads to convert, or your business is viable, you've proven that it's viable, but you just don't seem to be able to increase sales and scale and break through that first ceiling height of business, please do request a strategy call from me. Again, the link is below on the screen. It is for women. Because what I do is I actually run a mastermind for underrepresented women. So by underrepresented, what do I mean? So that is women of color, women who are immigrants, anybody who is a woman that isn't from the mass market, that isn't from a privileged background. And don't take that the wrong way to anybody that thinks, well, I'm privileged. When I say privilege, all I mean is that it's not someone that is represented in the mass in the media. My mastermind is very much around women who maybe have gone to another country, they're immigrants, they're second or first generation, they're from the BAME community, which is Black, ethnic minority and Asian, where you are operating in a world that are full of masses and it's hard for you to get ahead. Please do, if you are from that place and community, if you are ready to really start your business or scale your business and you're serious, book a growth strategy call with me. I actually run a mastermind group monthly and it starts in October, and it's women that join that group, and every month we give training and hands-on training from myself and my whole team to make sure you start your business and you sell successfully online. It's one full day training a month, and also it's a weekly call to make sure you're kept on track. But the growth call is all about you. It's not about me and my mastermind. Like I said, if you are serious about getting ahead in business and you need some help to put a strategy and put a plan together, book the call with me. It's 45 minutes and I will give you my time to make sure I put together a strategy for you. If you're then interested in joining my mastermind group and you qualify, absolutely fantastic. If you didn't, you're going to be getting a strategy call that I promise you will be worth your while. So please do book on. Also as well, I'm going to end on the note that we have just launched, yay, watch out for it. We've got a campaign that's about to launch for crowdfunding. We are going to be crowdfunding. So anybody that does join my mastermind will have the opportunity to gain up to £10,000 to start or scale their business. So within the year of the mastermind, if your business is viable and it's going, you're selling, you've got prospects and it's working, we will actually be raising funds to make sure that you are invested in so you can scale that business up. If your business has already started and like I said, it's not going, you're not selling the units within that year mastermind, if we put a plan together, implement it, and we see the rise of your business, you've got the opportunity to get up to £10,000 invested in your business. So really big things that are happening under the Natalia Nicholson brand and the Women in Digital business. So for all of you that do book on, I really look forward to seeing you. For those that you don't, maybe there's some males on this call, please don't be angry at me, but please make sure you follow or join the group. I have got loads of free training, loads of resources, and I am all about serving my customer. I got missold a lot of get rich quick schemes and people saying that they would help me, and it just didn't work out like that, and I spent a lot of money. My objective is to make sure I give value, and when I give information, I don't cut any corners, and I tell you everything you need to know. So make sure you follow, you connect with me, because no matter where I am, I try and give away the most I possibly can. But like I said, if you are really ready to take it to that next level and you need some help and you want to explore about maybe working with me, just book the strategy call. All the links are below. I hope you have a wonderful day.